This is 27th March 2023, Monday, and we are in BBA section B, and this is the third class of the semester, and we have been discussing Unit 1, Philosophy, and since yesterday we have been trying to understand Plato, and I would like to call someone here randomly. You come to the podium with a note copy, and you can read out, or you can just tell without reading, or you can read out what we did in class yesterday in detail for 5 minutes. So, who would like to come? Anybody? Say, I will come. Okay, roll number 31. 31. 31. Thirty-one is Garima Thapa. Okay. 21. Okay, come. You can come with a note copy. Go on. Yes.
So yesterday we first learned about the topic, our first topic, which is philosophy, and Sir told us how it means wisdom, and wisdom means understanding. And then he started talking about our first chapter, which is the Allegory of Cave, in which we will learn how do we know the truth, reality, and it is Plato's concept of cognition. And then we learned how, in this lesson, the truth is, Plato says that the truth is not just we cannot learn the truth from our senses, and about sensory perception and how we have 5 different senses. And then we learned about Plato's theory of how we know things, and realm of intelligible, which is material world,
A realm of the intelligible is spiritual world, and the realm of the visible is material world. Go on, it's all right. Go on.
And then we learned meaning of hypothesis and hypothesize.
Okay, hypothesis and hypothesis testing. That was all?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So, we left the class yesterday with the idea of hypothesis testing. I'll continue with that. What I'm trying to say is that the question is, how do we create knowledge in this world? Right? How do we know? I'll give an example from my life. Last Dasai, one day before Dasai, on Navami, my wife got high fever. That was the time when Kathmandu was having rampant dengue fever. So I was in my office, and she made me a call, and she told that I'm not welcome home. As I reached home, I saw she was lying in bed, almost unconscious. So the first thing I did was I sent her blood sample for testing for dengue. And before the reports came, I began to think, and I want to use this example to make you understand what is hypothesis, what is hypothesis testing, and how we gain knowledge, and then I'll relate it with Plato. So, in my example, I had a problem. What was the problem? My wife had high fever, 103, let's say. Problem. Now, whenever we have a problem, the first thing we do is we pose a question. For example, we might say, what happened? We have the answer, fever. Okay. What happened? Fever. Got the answer. Then we have a second question. Normally we might say, why? Or we might say, how? Or we might say, what caused it? we pose a question like this. What has caused the fever? Right? So once we have a problem, we look for a cause. Right? Okay. Now, this problem, you will understand, this is the effect. Right? This effect. We have, when the virus enters the body, we have the effect. Or, this is the condition. This is the condition, right? We call the condition. Every condition has a cause. But the cause is not easily known. We have to determine the cause. That's why I sent the blood sample to the diagnostic center, right? And then within 4 hours we got the report. And she had dengue positive. It was confirmed that my wife got dengue. Now the cause is dengue. Now we have a second question. The second question is, what caused this dengue? Second question. Now once we have a second question, I start imagining. First hypothesis, my wife went to Tarai. Because normally dengue occurs in Tarai often. Last year it occurred in Valley. Wow. Now it's Tarai. So I pose a question. Did my wife go to Tarai and got this infection? Hypothesis 1. So here hypothesis is an imaginary cause for a problem. What is hypothesis? An imaginary cause for a problem. So I am imagining. Did my wife go to Tarai? Now my data shows, my record shows that no, my wife did not go to Tarai. Now when I put a cross here, I have tested my hypothesis and rejected because the data tells me that my wife did not go to Tarai. So I cancel this hypothesis. Second, I say, did any relatives transmit dengue to my wife? The other possibility is that a lot of people have dengue these days, every home has dengue these days, so somebody came home and then maybe the same mosquito bit them and to my wife and she got. Second hypothesis, right? Now I say, okay, in the last 1 week, it's dengue everywhere, so nobody's going anybody's house. Did any guest come to my house? My memory says no. So again, I cancel the second hypothesis because my data says no guest has come to my home in the last 7 days. Therefore, the chance that my relatives transmitted is 0. I did the second hypothesis. Now, third hypothesis, did my wife get dengue from the community? This third hypothesis, she went to a neighborhood to visit friends and maybe she got from other houses. Then I think and say, no, for the last 7-8 days, my wife, we normally don't go out. We don't normally visit community or neighbors. So I reject this hypothesis also. Look, I am imagining causes, checking them with the data available and rejecting. Are you getting my point? And once I reject one cause, I imagine a second cause. Hypothesis 1, hypothesis 2, hypothesis 3. Now I imagine a hypothesis 4. Okay, did my wife get dengue at Tribhuvan International Airport? The data. Yeah, 3 days before, Tuesday, We had gone to the airport to see my daughter off to America. We reached there around 5 in the evening. The flight was around 8 o'clock. So we stayed at the airport lounge for 3 hours. Where did we stay? Oh, we stay in the crowd. Where did we sit? Oh, we sat by the walls of the gardens. And what had happened, I remember. Oh, mosquitoes started biting us, I remember. And I told my wife, hey, Nani, त्यो कुर्ताको, I call her Nani. Hey, Nani, त्यो कुर्ताको त्यो तल तान्नु लुगा, खुट्टामा मसँग टोक्छ. I remember saying this. And she says, हजुर त्यो तान्नु पेन्ट तान्नु. मैले भने, मैले मोजा लगाएको छु, लामो मोजा लगाएको छु. तिमी सानो मोजा लगाउँछौ, खुर्साउनु पर्छ नि. And then she said, मसँग टोक्यो नि राजा, ला, अब डेङ्गु हुन्छ. I'm recalling what happened actually. And then my son-in-law is there. My daughter is there. She says, Mommy, ख्याल गर्नु. डेङ्गु फैलिएको छ, एयरपोर्टमा यत्रो मान्छे आएको छ, सर्छ. The mosquitoes didn't bite me, they didn't bite my daughter, they didn't bite my son-in-law. But one mosquito bit my wife. I clearly remember. I recall this data. And then I say, my wife must have got dengue at Tribhuvan International Airport because I remember how one mosquito bit her. And we talked about this dengue thing. And I started imagining there were thousands of people. They had come from different locations. I guess many of them had dengue with them. So the same mosquito bit them and bit her. And then she got the dengue. Now, I finalized and I said, this is the cause. Now, I showed you how science functions. This is how science functions. This is how science functions. You have a problem and you imagine causes and you verify them against data available. If the data does not, if the evidence does not support your claim, you reject it. Here, my claim that my wife got dengue at TIA is supported by the evidence. What evidence? A mosquito had bitten her that day. Now I accept. And now I have a knowledge here. What knowledge? Dengue is caused when mosquitoes bite you, particularly morning and evening in public places. Now this is knowledge formed now. How my question to you? How did I arrive at this knowledge? How did I arrive at this knowledge? Through my senses. Through my senses. Look, I said, I saw her, I heard her, I felt her, I touched her, I listened her saying, Raja Mosquito Tokyo. I saw her, a mosquito bit her. I used my senses. So we create knowledge in the material world using our senses. But do you also realize, besides sensory data, I was also using reasoning. I was reasoning. I said she went to the airport, she went in the evening, she sat in the garden lounge, it was open area, a lot of crowd was there, mosquitoes bit her. Therefore, it must be because of TIA visit. Reasoning, right? This is how we generate knowledge in the material world. Plato, if Plato was in our class, he would say that this is sensory knowledge. What knowledge? What knowledge? Sensory knowledge. And Plato is talking about not sensory knowledge, but ultimate knowledge. Plato is talking about not sensory knowledge. About what knowledge? Ultimate knowledge. For example, this is a sensory reality. What reality? Reality generated by senses. Reality generated by 5 senses. But Plato talks about ultimate reality. In this example, I determined a cause of dengue, right? And that cause of dengue was determined through sensory analysis, right? Plato talks about ultimate cause. Keep in mind the word ultimate cause, very significant word in Plato's study. What is ultimate cause? In a sense, God is the ultimate cause. What does ultimate cause mean? Ultimate cause means that cause which causes every other thing in the world, but which is not caused by anything. In other words, God has created everything in this world, but nothing has created God. If something creates God, that thing will be God. Do you get my point? Because the word God is ultimate. Nothing should be above God. Nothing should be above God. That is the final, ultimate cause. So God is known as ultimate cause. In Sanskrit we call it Param Brahma. What do you call it? Param Brahma. Something that causes everything else, but which is not caused by anyone. Right? So for Plato, what is reality? For Plato, the ultimate cause is reality. Now the question comes, I explained you these ideas. I explained you these ideas through the idea of a divided line, if you remember. Let me once again quickly explain you. Let's draw this line, and then at the bottom, here we have sensory reality. Here we have sensory reality. And here we have spiritual reality or eternal reality or universal reality. Okay? Now, Plato doesn't clearly say he is talking about cognition, but Plato is discussing how we know and how we can know ultimate cause. So Plato says that we are here. We are here. In a sense, our soul is here. Plato believes in soul. Plato also believes in rebirth. Our soul is here. How do we know? We know through the soul, we say. We know through the soul. So here, this is the visible world. What word is that? What word? What word? Visible world. And when you say visible world, you mean a world known through five senses. Visible world means the world known through five senses. And this is intelligible world. Let's not use the word world. Let's use the word realm. Because if you say world, then it will be the same thing. That is intelligible world. Now what is intelligible world? Intelligible world is beyond the five senses. Intelligible world is beyond the five senses. For example, this world is physical. Look, I pick up the chair. It's a physical chair, right? I can carry a material chair. But do you know, as I carry this chair, the physical, it's heavy. It's cumbersome. Right? As I carry this cumbersome chair, in my mind, I have the idea of chair, right? I have the idea of chair, right? Don't I? For example, let me show you. Come, tell us, come. Draw a chair for us on the whiteboard. Draw a chair for us. Okay, we'll talk. Quick. Tell the class, how did you draw this chair? You took the marker? Good. Drawing. Okay. This is the instrument you use, right? Marker. I want to know how you use your mind. I think something happened in your mind, right? As you're drawing. I want to know that process. The mental process while drawing this chair. Okay. He says, I know how a chair looks. Look at his word. He says, I know how a chair looks. Where is that knowledge in your body? Where? In a sense? In your mind. Okay. The knowledge of how a chair looks is in his mind, right? Now, in your mind, you say you have the knowledge of the chair, right? Now, my question to this is, in what form is that knowledge? Because this chair is a concrete chair, right? Look. Did you have such a bang when you drew the chair? No. This is material chair, right? I want to know what kind of chair you have in your mind. Like this. When you say like this, is that exactly like this? No. For example, they just had dash of chair. They just had dash of chair. Idea of chair. They just had the idea of chair and they just imitated his idea and drew this chair. Hello class. Which chair looks perfect? This one drawn by the factory or this one by Dedas? Dedas? Very clever, supporting friend, right? But if no doubt, this looks more perfect, right? Somebody can draw even more perfect chair than this. And there is no limitation to perfection. Now, the perfect chair. Hello? सुन्ने छोड़ो बच्चा भयो क्या यति बोलको उमेर र टपिक मिलेन. The perfect chair is only in the idea. The perfect chair is only in the idea. And for Plato, this chair I am holding in my hand is an imitation of that idea of the chair. Just before you leave, one more drawing. Draw picture of a female figure. A female figure. A female figure. You can draw the face, body as you like. You can draw the face, body as you like. Okay. Thank you. So what did you mean? Thank you. He was imitating the idea of a female figure he has in mind, right? This is a copy. This is a copy of the original in the mind. Where is the original? In the mind. Where is the original? In the mind. Now let me also produce this example quickly.
Oh my.
feed my idea of female face. For Plato, truth is not these images, but the idea which is in our mind. For Plato, reality is not this image that the eyes can see. Sensory. Tejas and me drew these images using our senses. And while drawing these images using our senses, we had to rely on the idea. If we had no idea, we won't be able to draw this picture. Will be able to? No. That idea is the reality for it. And he says that from this physical, we move to metaphysical. Physical to what? Metaphysical. And this metaphysical is the idea. This metaphysical is the... Okay. Now let me spend... Is that clock working? I'll perform a small drama now to make you understand things. Plato brings the concept of the allegory of the cave. Okay, we are clear. I want some volunteers, one person or two people to do this thing. Okay, what we are going to do now is, okay, someone come and sit here. Yes, you will sit here. Someone come and sit here. Anyone? Hello? Hello? Please help me. You will just sit, you will do nothing, you will just sit here. Hello? Come. So in a sense, we are in a cave. We are in a cave. And we are in this cave since our childhood. And she's also a prisoner. Right? Now, this prisoner has her neck chained to the knees, so she cannot turn back, never turn back. She doesn't know what is behind her. She has no idea. She can only see to the front. That is the wall of the cave. That is the wall of the cave. And look what happens now. Look what happens now. Wait a minute. I'll demonstrate. Now, here is a path. Here is a path. And some people are walking down the road. Some people are walking down the road, and these people have a bag on their head. And you can see the shadow there, right? Someone has a mobile on their head. You can see shadow there. Someone has a bag on their head. You can see the shadow there. Someone has a copy. You can see the shadow there, right? Now this prisoner has no idea about this scene because she has never seen this side. Now as I walk with this thing through the road, the shadows are cast on the wall, right? And now as I walk, I'm in jolly mood and I sing a song. Manche ko maya yaha kola ko pani jasto kinara. Now she can hear my voice because the sound echoes in the cave, right? Now she wonders and starts thinking that that figure moving on the wall is true human being like her. But we who are not in this cave, who are outside, we understand that this prisoner is thinking wrong. She's thinking wrong. Actually, this is the object, this is the object, and this light coming from this source, let's say the fire, this fire and the light coming from this fire is causing that shadow, isn't it? Right? But this person doesn't know that there is an object. This person does not know that there is fire. She sees only to the front of the wall and she mistakenly, look, why this is happening? Why this is happening? She has wrong conclusion that is reality because she is using her senses. She is using her senses. What sense? Particularly, let's say eye. The eyes, right? She is not using reasoning. She is not using reasoning. She is not using wisdom. She is not using intellect. So she has a wrong idea that that picture was the reality. Now Plato would say, this cave is our world. This cave is our world. We are the people in this world. We are the people in this world. The people walking down the road, social media. The shadow on the wall, the impression of social media. And often we think that what we see on Facebook is true. But we find that that is not true. So, in an allegory, two things are compared. For example, this prisoner can be compared with us in the world. Just as this prisoner is ignorant about the reality, we are ignorant about the reality. Now look what happens. Now we're doing the second phase of this experiment. Now this prisoner breaks her chains. Now let's say I am the prisoner. Because I know the drama. So I break my chain, and out of curiosity, I walk up the cave steps. I walk now. Somebody help the camera to focus me. Help the camera. So I walk up the cave, and I arrive at the door of the cave. And when I arrive at the door, the first thing that happens to me is that I confront light. I was in darkness. So I have no habit of facing light. So the first thing happens is that my vision has problem. And it takes me some time to settle down with the vision. Then I say, I can see trees. Oh, that's right. Oh, I see buildings, houses. I can see swimming pool. And I walk out. I can see the sun in the sky. Oh, the moon. Oh, the stars. I had never seen it. Now I stand by the swimming pool and I see my shadow in the water. Oh, that's my reflection now I know. I walk, here's my shadow. What is causing this shadow? Oh, the sun is causing the shadow. Gradually I come to understand that everything in this world is caused by the sun. Now I come back. But when I went out, I was ignorant. But once I lived outside the cave, I gained knowledge and insight. Now as I come back, I'm changed. When I come back, I'm changed. It's like BBA person, BBA person. You get changed for your knowledge. Now I come back with a realization that that's reality. This is not. And I meet this prisoner fellow, my friend in the prison, and ask her, tell her, hey, you thought this is reality? That's not reality. Then she says, what's reality then? If this is not reality, then I said, outside there is sun, moon, star. That's reality. Then she tells others. She says, hey, look, this gentleman, he went out, now he lost his vision. And look what nonsense he's talking. He says this is false. And that is true. Because she believes, you believe, this is true, that is false. Well, the truth is, this is false, that is true. And they say, let's kill him. Because he will confuse us more. Then they have a competition. What competition? They say, okay, Divakar, you say you have better vision? Okay, you count these shadows of these people. But what happens? I came in the cave from outside. From light, I came in darkness. So for some time, my vision is disturbed. So I fail to count correctly, they can count correctly. Because they have been living in the darkness since ages. But I came from light. And when I fail to count, they, look, didn't I say this gentleman is wrong? Look. And they punish me. And they punish me. Whereas, I'm right. They are. Plato uses this idea of cave and this story to make us understand that this cave is our world. Our world. That outside is enlightenment. What? When Buddha became Buddha, it was like going out of the cave. Because he knew that this world is source of suffering. This world is untrue. And Plato wants us to understand that whatever we have in this world is untrue, false. Now what will happen? If we start believing that whatever we have in this world is false, what will happen? The thing is that you will no more be greedy for gold and diamond and jewelry and money and bike and car and so, because you will think that every material prosperity is false. Once you believe that material prosperity is untrue, and then if you become Prime Minister, you will not loot the country. If you become minister, you will not be corrupt. If you become officer, you will not take bribery. Because you will think money is false. And if you start feeling that everything in this world is false, you become sort of philosopher. And if a person who believes that this physical world is untrue, is made a king, a ruler, then such a person will not be corrupt, and such a person will not misuse power, will not misuse office. And then if the rulers are like philosophers, they don't misuse power, they don't misuse chair and office, then the country will be ruled with perfect justice, and such a country will be a good country. That's all. Thank you. Thank you. That's all. Okay. You don't need to film, because I upload the whole video and you can download it from the YouTube, right? Don't worry. I could see you filming me because you saw me performing a drama, right? And this must have been something surprising for you, because you must not have seen teachers doing this kind of thing in class, right? I know. Okay. So, take your pen and copy. Take your pen. Where is your... Ah, yes. Take a pen and copy. Go on a new page. New page. New page. Write your name. Write your name. On a new page. Write your name. Write today's date. Your section. Write the question. your name, section, today's date. Write the question. In 4 paragraphs, you can go beyond 4. In 4 paragraphs, summarize what your teacher did in class and what he said. Write about the idea of cognition, comma, divided line, and the allegory of the cave. Now you will go for break only when you have 4 paragraphs. Your time starts now. किन रिसाको छिटो लेख नि त एकछिन हेलो मलाई थाहा छ तिम्रो रिसाउँछौ तै पनि काम गराएको ल रिसाएर भए पनि लेख ल रिसाएर भए पनि लेख ल मलाई गाली गरी लेख ल Write about the idea of cognition, the idea of divided line, and the idea of the allegory of the cave. What I want you summarize today's class. That is So
what is cognition, sir?
Cognition, the ability to know. मलाई थाहा छ मलाई काम गरे भने सक्छु मलाई थाहा छ तै पनि काम त गर्नु पर्यो नि त काम नगरेर के गर्नु
आफ्नै पिरियडमा काम गराउनु
गुड छिटो तिम्रो अघि ढिला थियो नि त बस्नु
को म त गएको छैन हामी
यहाँ क्लास सुरुको टाइमै आउँछ नि यहाँ हेर न टाइम छ त 2042 मिनट भयो बल्ल 60 मिनटको क्लास हो हामीले बल्ल 42 मिनट क्लास गर्यौँ नि त
यो इनहरु पनि यही प्याराग्राफमै इन्क्लुड गर्छ
हुन्छ लेख न You can use the whiteboard as a source. You can seek help from a friend. You can use notebooks. You can take any help but write. Write what we did in class. I wish you had filmed me from my camera, right? There's just you mailed me that clip. You mailed me. I would like to see.
Last one. See if it's good. physical, soul, visible.
External universal, intelligent spiritual, external.
So one paragraph, now two paragraph, okay? Plateaus. What? Plateaus. So, very shy.
Can you scan me? Always send me soft copies and say hard copies I use easily.